Hello, you're listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs. It's a podcast where I speak to bands about the jobs they've done between tours or the side hustles they were working where they formed their band. Such is the case with today's guests, Liverpool duo King Hannah. They are Craig Whittle and Hannah Merrick, who are joining me on today's episode. Their new album, I'm Not Sorry, I Was Just Being Me, is out now, and they go on tour tomorrow, starting off in Belgium before meandering their way back to the UK in late April. You can go to their website kinghannah.com to find out about all that meandering tour and where they're playing near you. This episode is supported by 2000 Trees Festival, taking place from the 6th to the 9th of July in Cheltenham. It's going to be headlined by Idols, Jimmy Eat World, Thrice and Turnstile, and is one of the biggest independent rock festivals in the UK. Yesterday, 2000 Trees put out their massive vinyl announcement, including Angel Dust, Petrol Girls, Me Rex. I did an episode with Miles from Me Rex a couple of months ago, and new Third Man Records band Island of Love, who I'm a big fan of, and their EP Songs of Love is going to come out in a limited 7-inch this July. If you want to go to 2000 Trees Festival, but you haven't yet bought your ticket, you can get 10% off the price of your ticket just by using the voucher code 101POD. If you're going for a weekend ticket, that's saving 20 quid or something for basically nothing. 101POD is the code for checkout. That's at 2000treesfestival.co.uk/tickets. Cheers for listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs. Here's King Hannah.
So we met. We were working at a bar that we did. It's like 3 or 4 nights a week each. Yeah, that went on for years, didn't it?
We were evening shift people. I don't know what your reasons were, but my reasons for working night shifts, I mean, the hours were there because nobody liked doing them. So that was always the why you would do it. They were more fun than day shifts. Yeah. And more so for me personally, it's because I write in the day. So I would use my day to write and then nighttime to make the money to write.
And that sounds like it's quite like there's quite a good balance. Did you feel like there was much friction in that? You kind of had to fight for either one of those, the writing or the working?
Yes, constantly, isn't it? Because you're having to balance them both. Because like you said, it's a minimum wage job. So you can't, by law, earn any less. So you've got to put in more hours to make up for the cost of living. But that's okay. And it's a choice that you make because you can't live anywhere else I didn't want to live at home because there's nothing at home, and you've got to live in the city to make a music career and to be surrounded by the people that also want to do what you're doing. You've got to put yourself in the right place and then figure it out around that, haven't you?
We've met so many people from doing it, haven't we? Especially night shifts, because most bar jobs for people aren't a career for life. Maybe in some,
especially in the UK.
I was going to say, in some European countries or wherever, that is a career, but here it's very much like a thing you do on the side of while you're either in uni or you're trying to do the thing that you love. You're trying to get that started.
I wonder if that kind of transitionary element of it, can kind of skew your identity with yourself. I know that happened with me when I was working in the evenings and working night times. It definitely kind of made me wonder. I felt so different the next day, when I'd wake up at 2 p.m. after working till 2 or 3, whatever, a fine time to wake up in comparison. Yeah. But, you kind of, the way you kind of reflect yourself internally, it kind of skews it.
No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, because you either force yourself to get up early and have a full day, but then you're obviously like super tired, or you do sleep it off, but then you're getting up early afternoon, which isn't very healthy. It's a very healthy lifestyle, I don't think. And obviously the culture is after work, you go for a drink or wherever, and then, but we just have to force ourselves. And we'd sometimes meet up before work to go through little songs and stuff. I think it's just about trying to stay attached with the reason that you're doing this job in the first place. It's easy to get sort of sucked in and lost in doing those kind of jobs and if you don't carry on doing the thing you love and make enough time for it.
Making time for songwriting and practicing and being together, it's like priority.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the whole reason you're doing this bar job. There's no, we didn't see anything long term. I don't think we did.
No.
I mean, that's not what I wanted. What I wanted to be doing, but it does allow a certain kind of freedom with like swapping shifts over and getting things covered if you have to do certain creative things that you wouldn't be able to do if you had like a full-time 9-to-5 job. We met our first bass player as well because he was the
yeah, so true,
the sound engineer for this. So the bar we worked in used to have like it was like 2 floors, and the top floor used to have gigs on occasionally, didn't it? Yeah. Gigs and like weddings and stuff. And he was like the sound engineer for that. So we got talking to him about music, and then when it came to us needing a bass player for a few gigs, we asked him. So it's such a good little hub of to meet people, and yeah, that was the best part of that job by far.
I remember when I first started this bar job, actually, I remember the man who owns the bar, who we're not a fan of, he went, "Oh, what do you do?" He's trying to make a polite conversation. And I was like, "Oh, I'm a singer." And he went, "Oh, another one." And I thought, "You cheeky sod. That's so rude. Another one." I thought that was so bad.
That is rude, isn't it?
So rude. Another one. What do you mean another one?
It's just
though, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, like he likes music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone listens to music. Yeah.
Were there any times that you found it like really quite difficult to kind of balance playing music and working? Because it's 100%. Both it's work, isn't it?
It is. It's two jobs. You're bouncing 2 jobs to make one become the full-time job. Yeah, you'd have to constantly, ask if you can have this day off because you need to do this. And after that bar job, I got a different bar job, and they were really lovely people to work for, and they were totally understanding and really encouraging of it, actually. And still are. They email me every now and then just saying really nice things about, "Looks like you guys are doing well," and things like that. And that is so lovely. To have that support is makes the job, really.
Imagine it's a lot healthier way of living.
Oh, it's so nice. Yeah. So nice.
I remember because after that bar job, I worked in a coffee shop, so it was like daytime. And I remember when we did the first recording session thing that we did, that we never released anywhere. Yeah. And we needed like a few days off in a row to go into the studio to do it. And I had to work those days the week before to like sort of
make up for it.
So it was almost like you had to earn the right to be able to do this on the side, even though it was just like a part-time coffee shop job. They're
going to know where your priority lies.
Exactly, yeah, but it's like an unspoken thing where like you're never really allowed to say that. You always have to kind of pretend that your heart and soul is in this minimum wage coffee shop job. Like, there was no supervisors or managers. It was just you and then the owners. So there was no way of you like progressing through that company. So it's like, why do you think people are here?
Yeah. The other one as well, the one where Craig and I met, that we were both at for a really, really long time. The one where there was so many creative people, it was insane, wasn't it? They were so unencouraging of the amount of talent in that room.
Yeah.
They never, like the amount of artists there, I still haven't met that many creative people since working at that bar. And they used to actually split Craig and I up on shift because they said that we were too friendly. They put us on, and it's just like, surely you've got to get on with the people you work with.
Yeah.
It didn't mean you didn't work. It just meant the job became fun at the same time as working. And it was like that. It became like a jail to working in the end. The place it was so bad towards the end. But yeah, I think having encouraging people to work with and work for makes a big difference. I actually am writing so much less now than when I worked in a bar. When I worked in the bar, like personally now, I had like a structure, like a proper structure, and it was write in the day, work in the night, write in the day. That was my life, and it was all leading to one thing, and my focus was so clear. But now, because it's all merged into one, there's not that divide.
Yeah, it's all just one.
So I'm personally finding it a lot harder to find the time to write because there's so much different now, isn't it? It's so different. Yeah. It's so different.
Can you still wake up and say, maybe like an author would. You'd be like, I'm going to write between 8 and 10 every morning.
Yeah, and we're trying, but the only thing is a new deadline every day, isn't there?
That's it, yeah.
And there's sometimes a deadline is like
we
today,
need this now, yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, so you have to put that first. Whereas that just wasn't a thing before. It wasn't a thing.
I mean, it's also new to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, and we just know that a lot of the things that we're getting to, that we have to do with it, it's just say it's very much like we need this by the end of this day or
yeah.
But we know how important all this is, and all this is part of.
Oh, it's not negative. It's more just adjusting to a new routine, isn't it?
Yeah, and us trying to make sure that we still find the time to do, what I mean. At the end of the day, like the music will come out, and that's all people will hear.
Yeah.
They won't see all these, the behind the scenes things. So we need to make sure that we put enough time into writing and getting better and making music, because that's the end product.
That's the reason we're here. It's the
exactly.
music.
There's so much around the music that you have to do to circle back to the music.
Yeah, and like we're so small, we're like nobody at the minute. So all this will, hopefully help to build us a career.
Yeah, it's like we're building the foundations, aren't we, to get to where we want.
We keep meeting people along the way that have like little sort of nuggets of wisdom that you can like take, but because obviously you just don't know these things until. So yeah, we've met a few different sorts of people.
Lawrence as well.
Yeah, Lawrence, he was our sound engineer and tour manager for the last tour. He was teaching us things, wasn't he? And
he's done a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah. Just stuff you don't even like think about, like sound checking. We hadn't done many gigs, and where to place amps and how loud things should be on stage, and just trying to like fine tune everything so that we can hopefully get to where we need to be faster.
Do you think having Lawrence kind of be in your crew, is there a level of reliance on one another? He relies on you and you rely on him, because that's almost like it's like starting a small shop or something and having a partner.
Yeah, it's about you got to find the right people, haven't you? He one thing that like struck us about him was how much he cared, wasn't it? He just seemed so passionate about sound and wanting us to feel comfortable on stage and to be confident that we're sounding exactly as we intend to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about getting that. I'm guessing the longer this goes on, the bigger that team will become. You place so much trust in these people, don't you? I mean, we can't hear what it sounds like front of house. We can only hear what it sounds like on stage, and you're trusting that it sounds good,
and trusting each other, right? I mean, have you played in bands before where you've seen that trust within band members? I think a lot of people start bands in their 20s or younger, and like you're growing through so many times. Sometimes someone doesn't want to come to band practice, and that's going to piss off someone else. Kind of, no one's really wrong necessarily in that.
Different levels of ambition, I think, in band members. I remember playing in bands when I was younger, and we'd end up playing some like tiny pub somewhere, and the band member was completely fine with that and could do that forever. And I was thinking, well, I don't want to be. We've got to aim a bit higher than this. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point in doing this? I don't want to be, playing these tiny bars forever. So you need to find people who like match your ambition. I have very like vivid memories of learning how to play guitar when I was like 13. So my older brother taught me how to play guitar. So I was always grown up with him playing guitar around the house, and there was a piano in our back room. But being shown these songs that he'd been playing forever, and they just seemed as he was playing them before I learned to play guitar, it was like the idea that I could play them was like impossible. Like he was doing something that I could never ever do. Like I can't believe that you can do that. And then being taught them and sort of like learning the magic, like sort of like seeing behind the curtain kind of thing, like the magic being stripped away from it. And that was like a very like special time, you can do it. Like I can play those songs. I can play guitar, and I can write these little things.
Is there any kind of part of you that has any of that now? Kind of self-doubt?
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, there's lots of things I can't do on guitar. Like just make it noisier, just to cover the mistakes.
It's not true.
It's not true. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely we have self-doubt, don't we?
Of course we do.
Stuff, yeah. I mean, but again, we're also very confident that in our own taste, and we know our like sort of barometer if something is bad or something is good in our own music. Yeah. We're very like self-aware.
Quite strict for ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. You have to be.
You got a good shit stick meter.
Yeah. Which is important. You have to be able to like step away and sort of see how things will. I mean, obviously there's a limit because you tend to just think everything that you do isn't good enough. Well, I do anyway.
Do you demo at home on like voice notes? How do you sort of go about that?
That's kind of how we do it, isn't it? Just got sort of phones full of little things that will never be used. It's just so easy to do that now, isn't it? Back in the day, you had to get like a tape machine or something. Like
4-track.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I so often think that if we still had to do that, imagine the kind of cool sounds that we'd get.
I know.
Out of a 4-track, because it's an instrument in itself, right?
But and it's a lot more. What you get out of that is a lot more usable, and like you can actually release stuff like that. You can't really release voice note stuff.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. We were signed.
Well, coronavirus.
Yeah, just after like the whole like COVID thing started, so we wasn't like working then anyway.
And City Slang, how did they find you?
We don't really know. I think it was we self-released Creme Brulee, a couple of thousand views on Spotify, but it had like a couple of tiny blogs, picked it up and like wrote about it, and then one of those blogs ended up in a inbox to someone at City Slang, and then they got in touch and were like, do you have any more music? And we didn't, and that's when we made the EP to hopefully. So as we were making the EP, we were thinking, I hope they like it and sign us.
Yeah.
So yes, and then it was pretty much exactly as soon as COVID started, wasn't it, that we handed in the EP, because we finished it over Zoom, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And then so then since then we've just sort of putting off getting a part-time job.
No, we haven't.
What?
No, we have not. Putting off getting one?
No, I mean like we haven't had one though, have we?
No, I really can't imagine downtime. I really can't picture. I don't want any downtime personally.
No, we've been busier since we've been standing ever, haven't we? Ever in our life.
Yeah. Like, I don't know about you, but if I was to ever go back to a part-time job, which would be absolutely wonderful, I definitely would do it for like, the reason would be to obviously money, but also like a change of scene. Maybe that's it. Also
meeting people that aren't just so people we really speak to now are like music people, aren't they? I suppose we don't really meet anyone.
Well, next few months are so exciting. I hope it goes really well, and I can't wait to see you at the London dates.
Oh no, thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
So there they were, Craig and Hannah of King Hannah. Their new album, I'm Not Sorry, I Was Just Being Me, is out now. They're on tour across Europe and then the UK over the next month. Go and see them. See you next week with an episode with Young Gov.
I've been working all day for me mate on the side, running around like a blue-ass fly. I've been working all day for me mate. Every bleeding minute I've been on the go, up and down the ladder like a fiddler's elbow. I've been working all day for me mate.
This is a Mighty Moon Media podcast.